G'day everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel. So I'm going to be doing another predictions video. Yes, we've been pumping them out on the channel the past month or so. One more though, just before the season starts. In this video today, I'm going to be predicting who I think will be the best AFL players for the 2023 AFL season, as we'll be going over who I think will be the top 5 defenders, midfielders, forward, ruckman, and we'll compile them all into who I think will be the top 20 players at the end of this season. If you're going to enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. That would be much appreciated. And let's get straight into it. Righty over on, so we'll kick it off with who I think will be the top 5 defenders in 2023. Now, I do agree it's probably a lot more accurate to rank it in more specific positions like key defenders, like small forwards and general defenders and all that whatnot. But combined with relevancy and the video length, I'm just doing it in pure normal positions. So yeah, it's hard to compare like two positions, obviously like a general defender and a key defender, but I've just tried my best. But yeah, we'll just go over it now. So, 5th best defender of 2023, I've got James Sicily. I think he won't be going anywhere in terms of impact, in terms of the Hawthorn Football Club. How I like to look at it as last year, the likes of Frost being out, he had to really take the opposition's best key forward, and he did a pretty stellar job. He's usually more the interceptor, but he just played really good. He's really versatile, able to play on those big tools and show the intercept possessions. But yeah, with the likes of Frost back in and blank for the full season, Sicily could move a bit more into, like a second bet, take a second best key, and I think he'll dominate again this year, rack up the intercept possessions, and he's of course a very good player by foot. 4th best defender, I've gone with Jordan Dawson. This guy's going to star this year. I like to look at it as he's now the captain of the Crows. The players, the fans, the coaches really back this guy to have a successful year, and he's just a quality player. He'll get better with age, one of the best users as well in the competition, great left boot. I think he'll stay at halfback 100% now, won't really push up in the midfield because you've got the likes of Mitch Hinge and Chase Jones really competing for that wing spot, so he's going to boss it this year. I think he'll be the best general defender. 3rd best defender, I've gone with Stephen May. Don't think this guy again is going anywhere in terms of impact in the competition. Was the best key defender last year by some convincing margin. Just so good one-on-one, great by foot too, and just a very strong player to beat in the air. 2nd best defender, I've gone with Jacob Wiedering. I've backed the Blues to make top 4 this year, just sneak in. So if the Blues are going to have a big year, their spine's going to have a big year. And I think this is finally the year that Wiedering will taste or see or witness or wear the All-Australian blazer for the first time in his career. Yeah, one of the best one-on-one defenders in the competition. If he stays healthy, if Carlton succeed, this guy should be an All-Australian. And for the best defender, I've gone with no other than Tom Stewart. Just an absolute animal, really. So good in the intercepting role. Probably plays, yes, the worst sort of forward, which makes, obviously people say, he's playing an easy role, but he just does it so well. Extremely good in the intercepting. Is able to advance forward by foot very well too. So yeah, there is my top 5 defenders, as we'll now move on to the top 5 midfielders, and this is where things are a bit more tricky. It is a very competitive position, obviously, to be a top 5 midfielder, but yeah, we'll get into it. 5th best midfielder, I've gone with Marcus Bontempelli. I think this guy can get back to his best, maybe a career best season. Last year, with the Doggies having a sort of subpar year, still made finals, but he was playing most of the year injured. He was playing predominantly probably half forward, not in the midfield where he should be owning it. I like to see it now. He's come back, full preseason, looking 100% ready to go. He should be mainly in that midfield now with the, from what we've seen in preseason. The Bulldogs is, the forward line is looking quite schmick. So I think Bontempelli stays in there. He's going to dominate. And you've got the likes of McRae and, Dunkley at the door too. There's just more opportunity for Bontempelli to take his game to the next level and have like Liberatore and McRae sort of like their sidekicks of giving it to him. So yeah, he'll have a star year, I think. Bontempelli. 4th, I've gone with Christian Petrarca, one of the best damaging midfielder forwards in the competition, alongside Bontempelli. Just racks up the scoring involvements and disposals and averaging a lot of goals a game, like around 1 or 2. Again, similar to Bont, was playing injured last year, and the Demons have had a massive and grueling pre-season. So yeah, they will just heavily aid Petrarca to go bang this year. So I've got him as the 4th best midfielder. 3rd best, I've gone with Lachie Neale. Sort of nearing the end of his prime, but still, from what midfielders have said, actual AFL midfielders have said, he's one of the hardest mids to play on. You've got to tag Neale if you want to beat Brisbane almost. He's just a really good gut runner, able to spread, able to get to contest so quickly, and very clean in the coalface too. 2nd best, I've gone with Clayton Oliver. Probably the best contested midfielder in the game. Just extracts the ball from the contest so extremely well and in the middle of his prime. So can't really see him going anywhere. And for the best midfielder of 2023, I've gone with Tuke Miller. Good chance for the Brownlow here, even though I did tip Neil. I'm big on Touk too. And especially the Suns. I think if they make finals, which I've tipped them, if they want to make finals, you've got to have Touk Miller going big this year. So I think he's just going to star. Such a good two-way running mid. Shows his class as well. Superstar player. I've got him as the best midfielder in 2023. Moving on to the forward line now, and this is where things are interesting. It's sort of hard to fit in like a general forward, like a Bailey, Fritsch, or Heaney, where they could kick 50 goals, but do you rank them higher than other key forwards that are kicking 50 goals plus? So I've just tried my best here, but anyways, we're getting into it. Fifth best forward, I've gone with Tom Lynch. I still question about his durability, but on the flip side, his upside is still so good. He's one of the most influential players in the competition, especially for the Tigers. Contested marks are so good. Averaged the most amount of goals a game last year, so I don't think he's going to be dropping too far down the ratings as he is now in his 30s, and he's the difference maker. I think if he's fully fit, he has a full season, I think he wins the Coleman and the Tigers make top 4. If not, it could be a bit of a different story, but yeah, he's just an absolute gun of a player. Fourth best, you've always got to have risers. This is what people think with predictions. I've gone with Darcy Fogarty. I think he can really own that forward line this year. The Texan might take a step down, but he's a very unselfish player. He usually ranks well in score involvements and goal assists, so he could assist Fogarty a bit more. You've got Himmelberg as well. I think Fogarty now, he's primed. The second half of 2022 was very good. I think he can kick over 50 goals this year, and he's just going to boss of Adelaide. And I think Adelaide will rise too, but just so good in the air. Very good contested mark, and a very good set shot too. Third best forward, Ben King from the Suns. As I've said, I think the Suns make finals. King's got to go big this year. You saw the emotional damage he sort of had after doing his ACL from the articles that I did see, and with a pretty promising preseason campaign, he's come back, he's fully fit, he's ready to go. He kicked 47 goals in 2021. I think he kicks over 55, and a true, really good competitor for the Coleman this year. And, I think him and Chol will combine really nicely in the forward line too. So yeah, Ben King for third best. Second best, Charlie Curnow. Got to have the Coleman medalist up there from last year, even though I don't think he'll win it because it's very hard for forwards to do that, win back-to-back Colemans. He's still going to be massive for the Blues this year. He is still one of the hardest key forwards to play, and he might be only 194, 195 centimeters, but he's highly athletic. He's just very strong upper body, very good overhead, and a great kick for goal too. He's able to not only kick set shots, but also on the run and open play, snag a few goals too. And now for who I think will be the best forward of 2023, you guessed it, Jeremy Cameron. Again, superstar player. He's just the difference maker for the Cats. With him out of the side, maybe they would have lost a few games. He's just such a heavy influence. He's able to push up the ground. He's able to offer a bit in the midfield, gain 25 disposals, kick 3 goals. And he's able to do it all, really, as well as service it to the likes of Brad Close and Stengel and Hawkins as a deep forward. But yeah, just a champion player, Jeremy Cameron. I think he's going to be huge again in 2023. And now for the top 5 rucks. And of course, ruckmen are a bit more lower in terms of good quality depth, with the likes obviously forwards and midfielders because there's a lesser amount, but still there's some quality rucks in the competition. We'll go over my top 5. Fifth, I've got Rowan Marshall. Don't know about the Saints this year, but I know that if Rowan Marshall can get a full season with mostly predominant main ruck time with Tom Campbell out, Hayes out, I think he could be huge this year. He'll just continue to rack up the hitouts, and he's pretty decent now around the ground, can really take some good clunks. Fourth best, Jared Witts. I think he'll start to decline a little bit with age, but he was the second best hit-out ruckman in the competition, just behind Max Gawn last year, so can't push him a bit too far down. I think he'll still be a very serviceable and elite ruckman. He truly is. Third best, I've gone with Sean Darcy. He's one of those ruckmen that people have tipped now for maybe a year or two for him to break out and have that All-Australian season. We've said that with the likes of Tim English as well. But yeah, Sean Darcy, very good hit-out ruckman. Around the ground, he can be a bit iffy, but he's very good at the contested marks too. But he's just going to dominate, I think, in hit-outs this year and be the third best ruckman. Second best, as just mentioned before, speaking of him, Tim English. I just don't know about his durability, though, if he can be the best ruckman, but he's certainly going to be a really good competitor to an All-Australian spot this year if he can keep healthy. I've always felt with English, his hit-outs is okay. It isn't his greatest strength. It's around the ground. It's being able to go for kick goals and take contested marks, and his follow-up work is very good too. So I think he's just all-round a really good ruckman for the Bulldogs. I think he'll be awesome this year and be the second best ruckman. And for the best ruckman of 2023, got to go with Max Gawn. I don't think this guy will be depleting down the ratings until either the Demons play bad or until he retires. Simple as that. Yeah, we just all know about Gawn, so good in the hit-outs. And of course, his ability now to play forward gives him that extra string to his bow on just how damaging of a player he is. And I think he will be the best ruckman of 2023. Pretty boring selection, but hey. That's just how it works sometimes. Okay, everyone, so there is my top 5 players for each position. As I said before, it is a bit inaccurate in terms of, could there be a small forward in the forward section? Could there be more general defenders in the defenders section? I would have loved to do specifics, positions, like small forwards, key forwards, etc. But I don't want to make the video too long. So yeah, that's just a rough estimate of how I think things will pan out in terms of rankings in those positions. Now we'll get into our top 20. And there are players that were not in these ratings. Like obviously there's going to be a lot more midfielders that are 6th or 7th or 8th will be in this top 20. There's also likes of midfielder forwards that probably, or sort of that awkward position from being ranked in the best forwards and midfielders on my list. So I've included those players too, but we'll get into it now. 20th place, from 20th to 1st of course. 20th, I've got Callum Mills from the Sydney Swans. Classy midfielder, very good two-way runner, just a brilliant player, and a very coachable player too that can go back. I don't think he's going to be a top 10 player this year like last year, because you've got the likes of Chad Warner and Rowbottom and Goulden now, who I think is going to take more licks of the Sydney Swans ice cream this year in terms of midfielder time and impact on the Swans. So yeah, Mills will still be a great player this year. Don't think he'll be as good as last year though, but still fantastic player. 19th, Shea Bolton. I looked at my top 20 players from last year and I felt I can't exclude this guy. This guy's a difference maker for the Tigers. I know a lot of people don't really rate this guy. It's a very mixed opinions, Shea Bolton, with how he plays, but he's just such a hard player to tackle, hard player to play on, and he can change a game with a single kick, with a single possession, with 3 or 4 possessions. He does not waste them. 18th, I've gotten Max Gawn, explained with him before, the best ruckman. 17th, explained him before, Jordan Dawson. I think he will be the best general defender of 2023, so he deserves a spot in there. Very good ball user. 16th, Stephen May. 15th, I've gone with Connor Rozee. Cannot go against this guy at all. Again, similar to Shea Bolton, a lot of people are like, oh, this guy's a bit overrated or etc. But this guy has untapped potential. I think he could go to the next level in 2023. So I think he's very close in the top 10 players in the competition. But he's just such a smooth mover and a classy player and is now able to accumulate. That's always been a bit of a struggle for him. But we saw last year, he can now get the 30 disposals and the goals a game, which is just such a valuable asset to a midfielder, especially with the likes of Connor Rozee, who could potentially get back-to-back best and fairest in all Australians. 14th, got Ben King, big on this guy this year. 13th, Josh Dunkley. I think if the Lions are going to be a really good team this year, I think there's got to be a few Lions players in there. Another player I was thinking of was Harris Andrews. I think he could get back to his best, but Dunkley's going to be huge this year. I just thinking now a bit of a changed environment. His reputation will increase with probably a bit more of a successful club, but he's just going to be a damaging dual position player that can kick goals. Simple as that. Very valuable. 12th, got Paddy Cripps. Can't go wrong with the Brownlow medalists. But yeah, it's just going to be such a competitive top 10. Cripps, again, could be a top 10 player, but it's hard to fit players in. I'm wanting to go bold in a few calls. So yeah, Paddy Cripps will definitely be up there. 11th, Jacob Weitering, one of the best key defenders I feel will be of 2023. Very good one-on-one. 10th place. Now, if you did see my bold calls video from a few weeks ago, I said Noah Anderson will be a top 10 player. And you know what I did? I decided to be a pussy and not include him. No, I'm joking. You better believe I've got Noah Anderson as the 10th best player of 2023. I understand you look at that and you look at the other players, you're like, Noah Anderson, you got to be kidding me. I sort of understand that in a way, but as I've said before, I think the Suns make finals this year, and I just think it's more than just Touk and Ben King and stuff like that. I think there's got to be another player that rises up this year. I know I'm loving the look of Noah Anderson. He's just a perfect all-round midfielder. He's classy, he's good on both feet, he can spread to the contest, and he has the goal-kicking ability too. He can show the X factor. I think he'll raise up his disposals this year, and he'll sort of just be now on sort of, I guess, Touk's level in terms of he's just a sidekick assisting the Touk. He'll be on the same level. They'll be like the dynamic duo, I guess you could say, of the Suns. So I think he's going to have a big year, Anderson, sort of like a Brayshaw breakout. He's going to be huge. And speaking of Brayshaw, I've got him as the 9th best player of 2023. Can't go wrong with him. The Lee Matthews Trophy winner from last year. I still don't know about, can he be a top 5 player again? Again, it's very competitive, and I think it depends on Fremantle's success. But this guy, he's just such a perfect character as a midfielder. He's hardworking, great leadership, great two-way running, and he racks up the football and can make impact on the side. 8th best player, I've gone with the best defender. I think will be in 2023, Tom Stewart. I think he'll still be up there. Just such a champion player he's been in a limited amount of years. 7th best, Marcus Bontempelli. 6th, Charlie Curnow. 5th, Christian Petrarca. 4th, Jeremy Cameron. 3rd, Lachie Neale. 2nd, Clayton Oliver. And 1st, Touk Miller. The reason why I just said it name by name instead of explaining things was because I did explain them earlier in my midfielder rankings. So that's just pretty much copying and pasting the rankings into the top 20. So yeah, there's my top 20, everyone. Yeah, a few interesting calls, but you know, with predictions, there's always got to be risers in there. That's just how it works. That's why I've got Noah Anderson up there. I've got Wiedering up there. So yeah, I think that's a pretty decent top 20. But yeah, obviously these things are always up for debate. So I'd love to hear your fellas' opinions in the comments down below. So everyone, that is the end of today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in. As I just said before, I'd love to hear everyone's opinions on this top 20 and the rankings. Feel free to let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Love to hear your fellas' opinions. Once again, everyone, thank you very much for tuning into today's video. Bit of an awkward time we are at the moment, like the week's break before the start of the season, in between pre-season and round 1. So just as a bit of a time filler, I've got this video in store for you lot today. So hopefully you did enjoy, and until next time, I will talk to you later. See you later, fellas.